How you're doing? Hope life is treating you well. Today is going to be a little bit geeky video. I'm going to look at the charging curves of my Tesla Model 3 long range. It's the first version that had the heat pump and chrome delete, or whatever you would call it. So I was watching Bjørn Nyland's video, and he does a lot of great EV videos of interesting in how fast an electric car can charge, how far you can go, and how fast you can go 1,000 kilometers. I would really recommend you to check out his videos. He also makes a few videos that are like a race where he compares different cars, how fast do they charge each of them, and he did one with the ID Bus, the new ID Bus, the ID5 GTX, and a Model 3 Performance. And I have seen these numbers before, and I'm not going to say anything negative about him. He does a lot of great work, but I was just slightly think of something slightly off about the Tesla charging curve there, because maybe they changed depending on the battery type, they changed the software. But if you look, this is his video, and these are really fun to watch. I enjoy that a lot. And you can see he shows the different cars and talks about how fast they charge and how much kilowatt they're taking. So, for example, here 50%. The Model 3 were down to 95 kilowatts for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. And I've thought the few times I have done a supercharging session in a 250 at the version 3, I'm fairly sure I was about 100 at 50%. So for about a year I have used Tesla 5 and recorded, so that has recorded all sessions. And so because it was Friday night and I had nothing better to do, I made these graphs and these numbers. So as you can see, these are the dates, and these are all recently in my travels. And if you saw my travel log, EV travel log, this is the one. No, this is the one, right? I know it had 250 kilowatts at 10% also, but the first recording in Tesla 5 was at 11%, so I didn't include that. Maybe I should have written 250 here. Anyway, and Bjørn Nyland's charging curve over here is this one, and you can see the green line here. I'm coming up with a pretty graph in a second. Yeah, I've had 115, 110, 108. I've never been below 100. Now, most of these have been in Germany, so I've been in, there's one in Italy, but I've been driving, and I have stopped to charge up because I was on my way to somewhere. So this hasn't specifically been to make the charging curve. So here's what this looks like. The big black line is what I saw in that video he had made, and these are my charging curves. So not that different, a bit different. His takes a bit of a dip here around 30% and around 50-55, and this is perhaps the one that I noticed. So they're not way off, and it's an interesting whether enough for me to notice. Yeah, so, but the times I've been charging, it hasn't been because I wanted to test 10 to 90. When I did this test, this one, although there, yeah, I if you saw that video, I did want to get it down to 10%. So one thing I do think is interesting is that, yeah, no, I was going to say that the ones where I start at a lower state of charge, it does taper off a bit more. That's not entirely true. So anyway, if you want to look at these numbers beyond this video, I'll leave a link to my website, which hasn't become defunct yet, and this is in the description and stuff like that, so you can see this graph and these numbers, so you can look at them yourself. So I just thought it was interesting to see that his best case scenario was a bit lower than mine. And yeah, again, I haven't been trying too hard to get the numbers. Okay, this is actually a good one. You can see this. This must have been, was this on my way home? I can't remember. This is quite an interesting chart, because they do drop below actually below his numbers right here. When I started 250, I can't remember if the battery was hot or not. What I did was I added a asterisk here, and the asterisk says that it shows that the car was heating the battery while charging, and it wasn't doing that here. So make of that what you want, but yeah, it's still a bit ahead of his charging curve. So I don't know, my car's been driven less than 40,000, 30,000 kilometers or some of that, so it's still a fairly new battery. Maybe that is something to do with it. But that was really just what I wanted to show. I find that interesting, at least. And it has 250 kilowatts up to 20%, and it does never have that below. At 25%, you can see it's already down to 230 or something like that. So yeah, it's yeah, I find this interesting. I can't explain why. Anyway, right, that's just about it. I would like to hear from you. What are your charging curves? Do you see something similar like this, or something worse? What I would like to try out is a heated battery below 10% at a 350 kilowatt charger, and see how far it could go and how high it could go. I think the limit might be 275 or something like that. I'm not quite sure. That could be interesting. Let me know what you think. Until next time, have fun on the interwebs, and don't forget to hit that button. Cheers.